Most cars don't fail because of bad parts. They fail because of one small thing owners slowly stop paying attention to. Engines that died between 120,000 and 150,000 miles are rarely killed by a single mistake. Instead, they're worn down quietly over time by neglect that feels harmless in the moment. No warning lights. No loud noises. No obvious failure. Just slow, invisible damage stacking up mile after mile until one day the engine suddenly gives up. And when it does, the repair bill isn't pocket change. It's the kind that makes owners say, "It was running fine yesterday." It's $4,000 to $10,000 depending on the car. By the end of this video, you'll know the simple DIY check that stops most early engine deaths, why manufacturers don't emphasize it, and why longtime mechanics never skip it on their own cars. Stay until the end because the final reveal is the part almost every driver thinks is unnecessary, and it's the reason some engines quietly reach music 300,000 m. Section 1. Why cars die early even with good maintenance. Let's clear something up. Most owners who lose engines early changed oil, fixed things when they broke, followed the manual. So why did the engine still fail? Because engines don't die from missed maintenance alone. They die from unnoticed conditions. Engines wear every second they run. The goal isn't perfection. It's keeping wear slow and even. And there's one condition that accelerates wear faster than almost anything else. The problem with modern cars. Modern cars are more efficient, more powerful, more tightly engineered. But that comes with a trade-off. Tighter tolerances mean less margin for error, higher sensitivity to heat, greater dependence on proper lubrication. Small problems now cause big damage faster than they did 20 years ago. And the most dangerous problems are the ones drivers can't feel. Section 2. The silent damage that never triggers a light. Warning lights are designed to prevent immediate failure. They are not designed to protect long-term engine life. By the time a warning light appears, oil may already be degraded. Metal surfaces may already be worn. Damage may already be permanent. That's why engines fail without warning. They didn't fail suddenly. They were ignored quietly. Section 3. What mechanics notice that drivers don't. When mechanics tear down failed engines, they often see the same pattern. Uneven wear, heat damage, oil starvation at some point in the engine's life. Not because oil was never changed, but because oil wasn't where it needed to be or wasn't doing its job anymore. That's the difference between an engine that limps to 300,000 miles and one that dies before 180,000. Section 4. The DIY that stops most early engine failures. Here it is. The simple DIY that saves engines is manually checking and correcting fluid condition and level, especially engine oil, between service intervals. Not at oil changes. Not when a warning light comes on. Between. This is the habit that quietly separates engines that die early from engines that reach 250,000 to 300,000 miles without drama. And almost no one does it consistently. Section 5. Why oil level matters more than oil brand. Oil brand debates get all the attention, but mechanics care far more about one thing. Was the engine ever run low? Modern engines consume small amounts of oil naturally, especially at higher mileage, especially under heat, especially with direct injection. Half a quart low doesn't sound serious. But here's the reality. Low oil means higher oil temperature, weaker oil film, less cooling for bearings and pistons. That's how engines get damaged quietly without misfires, noises, or lights. Section 6. Why warning systems can't protect you. Many drivers assume if oil was low or bad, the car would warn me. That's not how it works. Most vehicles don't have true oil level sensors. Only monitor oil pressure. Trigger warnings only after pressure drops dangerously. By the time oil pressure is low, damage has already started. That's why long-life engines are protected by eyes and habits, not dashboards. Section 7. What mechanics actually do on their own cars. This is where reality differs from advice. Experienced mechanics check oil level every few weeks. Top off early, not late. Notice changes in oil color, smell, or thickness. They don't wait for scheduled service. They understand something most owners don't. Oil condition changes faster than oil change intervals suggest, especially in short trip driving, hot climates, stop-and-go traffic. Section 8. The 60-second DIY that makes the difference. Here's the entire process. No tools required. Park on level ground. Let the engine sit for a few minutes. Pull the dipstick. Wipe it clean. Reinsert and pull again. Check level and condition. That's it. You're looking for level between min and max. Oil that isn't gritty. No strong fuel smell. No milky appearance. This isn't technical. It's observational. Why? This slows wear exponentially. Engines don't wear linearly once oil thins too much, overheats, or drops below optimal level. Wear accelerates rapidly. By keeping oil full, clean enough, and stable, you prevent the conditions that cause exponential wear. That's why this tiny habit has such an outsized effect. Why most people skip this? Drivers skip this DIY because it feels unnecessary. Nothing seems wrong. It doesn't give instant feedback. Humans are bad at preventing silent problems. But engines don't reward neglect. They punish it later expensively. Most drivers think engine wear is about friction. Mechanics know it's about heat control. Oil doesn't just lubricate. It absorbs and carries heat away from bearings, pistons, turbochargers. If equipped, valve-trained components. When oil level drops even slightly, oil temperature rises. Cooling capacity falls. Hot spots form. Those hot spots don't trigger warning lights. They quietly harden seals, weaken oil film, and scar metal surfaces. That's how engines age unevenly, and uneven wear kills engines early. Why short trips make this worse? Short trips are the enemy of oil condition. During short drives, oil doesn't fully warm up. Moisture doesn't evaporate. Fuel dilution increases. Contaminants stay suspended. That means oil degrades faster between oil changes. This is why two cars with the same mileage can have completely different engine health. The one that survives is the one whose owner noticed oil condition early and corrected it. Modern ownership encourages this mindset. I serviced it. I'm done. But engines aren't static. They change every mile. Clearances grow. Consumption increases. Heat exposure accumulates. That's why relying only on service intervals is dangerous for long-term ownership. Long-life engines are managed continuously, not periodically. Section 9. Why this DIY extends more than just engine life. This habit doesn't just protect the engine. It protects timing chains, oil pressure stability, cam phasers, clean oil, turbo bearings, piston rings, catalytic converters, less oil burn. When oil is stable, combustion stays balanced. Sensors stay cleaner. Exhaust systems live longer. One habit slows multiple failure paths at once. Section 10. What mechanics see in tear-downs when engines fail early. Tear-down inspections often show polished bearings, discolored cam lobes, baked oil residue, stuck piston rings, not signs of neglect, signs of insufficient protection at some point. Engines that reach high mileage show even wear, clean oil passages, intact oil films. The difference is not luck. It's observation and correction. Why? This DIY is never marketed. No one profits from you checking oil. Manufacturers sell cars. Dealers sell service. Shops sell repairs. A habit that prevents failure quietly isn't exciting, visible, or profitable. That's why it's rarely emphasized, even though it works. If you drive short trips in heat, in traffic, or plan to keep your car long-term, this DIY matters more, not less. It doesn't replace oil changes. It multiplies their effectiveness. Section 11. The real reason this DIY works. This DIY doesn't work because it's technical. It works because it forces awareness. The moment you start checking oil regularly, you begin to notice small changes, trends, early warnings. Engines don't fail randomly. They fail predictably. If someone is paying attention, This habit turns you from a reactive owner into a preventative one. That alone adds years to engine life. Section 12. How often is enough without obsessing? You don't need to check oil daily. You don't need to become paranoid. A simple rule used by long-term owners. Once every 2 to 3 weeks or every 1000 m. And always before long trips. That's enough to catch rising oil consumption, early leaks, rapid degradation. Consistency matters more than frequency. Section 13. Why people still don't do this? Here's the psychology. Checking oil doesn't feel productive. It doesn't give instant reward. Nothing happens when you do it. But engines reward prevention silently. And humans tend to value convenience now over savings later. That's why this habit separates owners emotionally, not technically. Section 14. What this saves in real money. Let's anchor cost again. 2 minutes every few weeks can prevent timing chain repairs, turbo failures, oil consumption diagnosis, full engine replacements. Those repairs start at $3,000 and go much higher. This is one of the highest ROI habits in car ownership. The final takeaway. Cars don't die early because owners are careless. They die early because owners are disconnected. This simple DIY reconnects you with the machine. It's boring. It's quiet. It works. Now I want you to answer honestly. When was the last time you checked your oil? Do you know if your car consumes oil? Are you planning to keep this car long term? Drop a comment with your car's mileage, how long you plan to keep it, and whether you're starting this habit today. Because the easiest way to make a car die early is to assume it will warn you in time. And the easiest way to make it live is to check before it has to.